Hello, I'm Tim Green. I'm a Professor of Electrical Power Engineering here at Imperial College London, and it's my great pleasure to spend a few minutes talking to a friend and colleague, Dr. Vera Silva, and she is the Chief Technology and Strategy Officer for GE Vernova. It's a very impressive sounding title, Vera, so I thought perhaps we should start by you saying a little bit about what your role is within GE Vernova.
Thank you. It's also very great to be here today. So I'm leading today strategy and technology for GE Vernova Electrification segment, so where we're really covering everything around electricity grids, power conversion systems, storage and solar, very much focus on working together with customers, with institutions such as Imperial College on devising this strategy and the technology that goes with it for the grids of the future.
Great. And what are the big challenges? What are the difficult parts of that role?
Difficult parts of the role is obviously making the right choices. So obviously there's many scenarios of what this decarbonization looks like, and it's extremely important that we get it right, and hence finding what are the right technology bets. When are they going to be needed? Are we going to be ready, not only from a technology, but also able to industrialize it, able to develop the projects, the construction, and making sure that we really succeed in getting this infrastructure prepared and that it doesn't become a blocking point for the energy transition. So there's also a people side, obviously. It's a global role. Working with thousands of engineers across 80 countries, so making sure that they feel engaged, they'll feel part of it, that they understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what's their role in it, and making sure it penetrates across. That's one of, I would say, a challenge, but also one of the most exciting parts of the job.
It's really interesting to hear you say that, because we think of engineering as about technological progress and design, but all engineering touches people's lives. But when you're in strategy, it's really about the people in the organization. And I wonder how you balance between the need to pursue the technologies and understand that, and carrying the people of your company with you.
I think it's one of the pieces that we need to always succeed, because as you know, I would say that it's now very clear that the grids, that the electrification are going to be essential for decarbonizing the world. And for that, we're going to have to accelerate hugely our ability to deploy projects and technologies. And I see today that maybe we need more factories, but that we can do in a few years. But we cannot do engineering in 2 or 3 years. We need to prepare this engineering workforce over at least a decade and even more. And hence making sure that our sector is attractive and people still feel excited working for us also comes with making sure they have the right engineering problems, but they also feel excited about why we're doing it and what is the strategy we're following. And the second part of the strategy is obviously all of this requires funding and investors, and it's also making sure that our segment becomes clearer and attractive to investors, where we're competing with a lot of other sectors that are claiming investment today. So it's really a role that cuts across, and it's about how we can communicate and generate enough passion and interest in what we do.
It's such an important role, the importance of the technologies and the decarbonization route that all countries of the world are going through. And then to have that senior role in such a big organization of crafting strategy. It's very impressive, Vera. You and I first met when we were both a bit younger and you were a PhD student. How did your course run from a PhD to being a senior role in a big engineering company?
I think here I would say that it was not only doing a PhD, but doing this specific PhD at Imperial College. Because the first thing Imperial College did was this closeness to industry or policy making problems to solve. So by being here, I had the opportunity of working closely with the Ministry of Energy and Climate Change, with a lot of European projects, ecosystem of industries, and it really helped me to make this bridge between academia and the impact it would have in the industry. And then obviously at Imperial I also got great opportunities of connecting with also very well-known and competent universities. And you know, you had the opportunity to join the Manchester seminar for the 20 top schools in power systems, where I developed a network which are still today my friends, but still the people I sit with to develop very large research industry partnerships and projects. So being here, the PhD, I would say the PhD at Imperial was really the beginning of everything. And this appetite for making the bridge between research and industrial application and customers.
It's interesting, isn't it? We make friendships in various parts of our career, and through our professional careers, we're able to hold on to those. People work for different companies or different universities, rivals in a sense, but they're also great colleagues to share ideas with. Has that been your experience?
Completely. I would say that there is a group, sometimes we say, of less than 100 people, and we were in Denver all together some years ago, thinking about creating this association and work where we could do it together. And in fact, we share the same passion, and the problems we're trying to solve are ultimately the same. And I think really my time at Imperial and the way Imperial connected with universities around really nurtured that. And it's not easy to do a PhD, right? So it's like we become brothers in arms. And so these really are friendships that last forever.
There are a lot of ups and downs in that research journey, aren't there? And you need your friends around you. But that makes me wonder, what are the other influences? Who have you had as role models during your career?
I'm thinking, because there's obviously many, but I think my professors here, like yourself and my supervisor or Mark O'Malley, were important role models for the energy and for the presence with industry, and that was really important. And then as I joined EDF, I there also found some amazing leaders that had very high management positions, but that kept their passion for engineering, like my boss, Alain Burtan. And more recently at GE, again, I discovered that I was wondering, how is it going to be to be in a global company? Are we that different? We all have these stereotypes of the Americans like this, and then I just found out that the engineers are the same everywhere. They just want to have a really nice problem to solve. They're collaborative, they're passionate. So there as well, I found role models like Daniel Murphy, who was the CTO of GE Renewables when I came. And throughout the career, we keep finding these role models. My role models are the people I meet, the people that really influence me every day.
So this week we've had a focus on women in engineering, and you're a prominent woman in a big engineering company. Are there any women engineers present or historical that you've drawn inspiration from?
Unfortunately, there are not hundreds. Like, we look back at GE Research Center, where we had Edith Clarke, and hence we all look at the legacy that Edith left and the labs. And we did an initiative at GE about making sure that our meeting rooms were not only named after men. Like, there's many Thomas Edison meeting rooms, but we had been introducing more. And as I mentioned before, Daniel Murphy has been a great, but there's others like Marie-Noëlle Semeria, who is the CTO of Total, with who I have great admiration on how she moved from one domain to the next, always being constructive and respected. And so these are some of the examples of people I have connected with and I really admire.
That's terrific. You'll have noticed walking around our campus today, it's our open day. There are lots of prospective students and their parents on the campus. I wonder, what would you say to young people trying to choose between different engineering disciplines or between engineering and other degree choices? What would you say that was the attraction for following a career path similar to yours?
Well, I absolutely love the opportunities that engineering opens. So as I mentioned before, I have worked with people who have a foundational engineering degree, which are today like my CEO at the moment, and that are doing important roles in many different areas. Because you do learn the fundamentals of problem solving, of systems, of understanding how things work, and it can apply to many different domains. So I I personally really knew I wanted to be an electrical engineer. I wanted to work in power systems, and I had a level of clarity very young. But I met other colleagues who came over with me, and I always felt that engineering was really something that opened many, many doors. So doors to do engineering traditional careers, expert careers, but also management careers, finance careers, government careers, always people who know how to approach a problem, who know how to bring people together to work, even though you say that it's not the best on human skills, but I disagree. Sometimes we could say that. And hence I really felt that it is really wonderful. And then on top of that, today some of the problems that we need to solve for the planet, they require quite a lot of engineering. So we really have the sense that everything we're doing has a true meaning in terms of where we want to go, what we want to leave for future generations. So it's definitely a non-regret path, at least for me.
That's a fantastic answer. I hope that's really helpful to young people thinking about what their future career path will look like. Vera, it's always a great pleasure to catch up with you, and thank you very warmly for spending a few minutes talking to me.
Thank you, Tim. It was a real pleasure. Thank you.